What shall it profit a man if he gain the whole world and lose his soul? Well, I'm not ever after everything in this world. You don't have to be. If you're after something else other than what God has given to you, you're after this world. And our soul is going to be required of us. What are we fighting for? We're fighting for our marriage. How important is your marriage, my marriage to us? How important? What are we fighting for? Our family. How important is our family and our children to us? Fighting for our church. We're fighting for our city. Well, I don't know about it all. You know what? I think I just won't fight. Yeah, we can choose that. But let me just tell us, the devil and sin is still going to fight us, even if we don't engage it. So you might as well at least put up a fight and see what God will do about your situation. Strikes home. Not all of you here heard my daughter preach. And there was many comments about how she did. Sister Deja said that Talia said to her that it even gave her chills when she was preaching. That was God. That was God. But Talia is not always what you see. There's a struggle, like I said, that we were born into earlier in teaching. And I looked in the Bible and I saw that Joshua stood before God in a fight and told the sun to stand still, and it did.
That's it. Thank you,
I
Lord.
remember when Abraham stood before God for 2 cities, if just 10 righteous would be found, and God heard him. I remember when Elisha stood before God and said, it's not going to rain, and it didn't rain. After 3.5 years of drought, he stood before him again and he said, God, it's got to rain. He had to go 7 times, but he continued, and it rained. So I said, God, if you hear a man like that, then I'm calling to you with a petition. You know how I lived this life. You know how I grew up. But I don't want this daughter of mine to taste this world at all. And I fought a fight of prayer. And I said, God, I don't want the love of this world to touch her at all. I don't want it on her heart or body. I don't even want it anywhere near her. And I reject it and come against it in Jesus' name. And you've got to hear me. I don't want any of the scars of this world on her like me. And you heard the results. But it's not over yet. My wife fought the fight at home that I couldn't fight. I was working most of the time and tore my heart out a lot of times. I always complained to him. I said, man, you guys always get to do the good things and I'm off working. But my wife fought at home, training her, mentoring her, and schooling her. And God heard. And God developed. But like I said, the fight is not over yet. In Galatians chapter 4, verse 19, it says, Paul was saying to his children, he had already born them through prayer and the word. But he came to them again and he said, my little children of whom I travail. That means I labor. I fight in birth. And this is the 2 words, again, until Christ be formed in you. I haven't given up praying for you today. God's not even close to done. I want you to have much more than I ever had in God in the way of revelation and prayer. And you're going to have it. Travail in birth again. We say that we love our children. We say that we love our church. We say that we love our family. We say that we love the lost and our husband. This is the question I say in the face of that. Are we travailing again for them until? That's right. The Bible is our guide. The Bible is our thermometer. If we really are loving them the way that we say that we are we travailing again until? Travailing again until the spirit of a finisher. Let me just digress a little bit. I think that's how you say it. Digress into the teaching mode. The spirit of a finisher. What am I talking about when I'm talking about a spirit? I'm talking about the resolve, the purpose, and the determination of a person. You can go a lot of directions with the spirit, but I'm talking about the resolve, the purpose, and the determination. Our resolve is this. The thing that we've determined on doing. That's our resolve. Our firmness in carrying out that purpose. And our determination. That's what I'm talking about in the spirit of a finisher. This is an example that I want to give you. I'm going to go back into my high school days. There was a fitness team that I was involved with. 5 people. The Marines ran it. It started in the city, then it went to the state, and then it went nationals, all the way to Washington, D.C. We were 16 or 17 years old. We took the city, Brother Mark. I don't remember what place we took, but we qualified to go to state. The first 2 people that took the state went to Washington, D.C. Free, everything, for 3 days. There was 5 of us. One of the guys, when you looked at him, he was intimidating, at least to me, Brother G. Man, that guy was built solid. He could really work out in the workout room. He was a wrestler. And I know when he got on the mat and they looked across at him, they thought, probably like, oof, I think I'll forfeit. He was intimidating. But after we won city, something happened. I got concerned. Because when we were exercising and training, I noticed, I was looking at him, and even though he had all that, and he seemed like he had it all, he was quitting. He was training. He had some kind of injury. It wasn't, in my mind, anything that could have completely stopped him from doing it, but yet, he was quitting. And I was saying, you know what, Jim, what's going on? That was his name, Jim. What's going on? Well, I got, come on, man, we need you. You got to go at it. You got to just do it. I was always in kind, when I was in sports, Brother Mark, as long as somebody was good or bad, I didn't care. As long as they tried, I was right behind them, man. Even if they ran like a turtle. As long as I knew they were trying. We went to state. We kept encouraging him. While we were there, 5 events, I kept checking, how's Jim doing? Oh, he's doing pretty good. How's Jim doing? He's doing pretty good. All of a sudden, they came to me, or I came to them, one or the other. I said, how's Jim doing? He quit. He quit. What do you mean he quit? All those teams that were there were good, Reuben. They had to beat the city. They had to take good place in their city, 1st, 2nd, or 3rd in their city to be able to be there. So they all were good. Brother Regina was a close line, and he quit. There was lack of a spirit of a finisher in him. What it was is, I believe, because he wasn't at his best, he wasn't going to try. Because he couldn't give it all that he could at the time, he thought it was better to just quit. It's not about being at our best. It's about continuing. It's not about being all that we can be. It's about continuing. It's all about continuing. The spirit of a finisher. And it's also about that there's somebody else that's involved. In 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 25 and 26, Paul said, I'm just in the Amplified Bible, I'm just paraphrasing. Paul said that when he was in a race, like Brother John was talking about, and he said about also compared it to a boxing match. I don't just punch at the air aimlessly. And what I thought about that aimlessly is means I've got a little defect inside of myself. So I'm telling myself, well, you know what? I've got this little thing, so I'm not sure if I can make it, but I'll just give it a go. That's punching at it aimlessly. We have an opponent. When you're in a boxing match, you have an opponent, you have a target. In the church, we have an opponent, we have a target. You know what that is? That's just finishing. The target and the goal is finishing.